Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Marketing Botics podcast. Right, in this episode, I want to talk about the 5 core things that you need to make a WordPress website. So let's get started. So most people think that websites are complex to do, and it takes time in order to learn them, and that's why we use agencies. And look, if you are getting a WordPress website created and you have your job to run and your business to run, then consider using an agency, because they can take their time. But if you have got time to learn it and you haven't got the finances in order to build your own, to go to an agency, then you can look at building your own. Now, as I've said in previous videos and podcasts, you can use CMS platforms like Wix and Squarespace and the others like it. And if you are going to promote yourself using social media and not necessarily require SEO, then you can go down the Wix and the Squarespace type websites, and they do create stunning websites. They've moved on a lot from where they started a good 5, 6, 7 years ago. But for me, if you have got the funds, you do want to focus on Google, which you should be, then WordPress is where you need to lie. If you do start with Wix, you can then eventually move over to WordPress as you build funds and traffic. So I'm going to explain the 5 fundamental things that you need if you are going to start looking at building your own website. And then you can listen to the other podcasts or watch the other YouTube videos in order to see how you use these tools more effectively. So if you have got if you are new and you haven't got a website up and running at the moment, the first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a domain name and hosting. And to do that, you go to one of these big hosting companies. Now, for us, we always recommend hostinggo.co.uk. Look, cards on the table, we are an affiliate of this company, so we do get paid for people we recommend. But we are an affiliate of several hosting companies, or we could be, because they all offer it. But the one I find works best is hostinggo.co.uk or hostinggo.com if you are in America, because it is an American company. So we find that works really well. And we find this best. And when you go to Hostinger, so Hostinger, when you go to Hostinger, you got the option of just buying a domain name, which you can buy for about £5, £8, £10 per year. But then you also need to grab hosting as well. When you are grabbing a domain, there are several options in which you can choose from. If you are looking to just promote within your country, then you can grab, like in the UK here, .co.uk. If you're in Ireland, I think it's .ie. If you're in Australia or anywhere over there, I think it's .oz.uk. America is .com, but I think they've got some regional ones now. So Florida's got one, I think, in New York, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think. And then there's loads of others: .online, .io, .xyz, .pro, .cloud, .store. There's loads of prefixes, but the ones I always recommend going for is .co.uk, so your regional one, your country one, and .com. I'm trying to always get the .com, and don't just buy the one without the other if they're both available, because you don't want someone else buying your domain name with .com if you've only got because you've only got .co.uk, or particularly the other way around. If you're in the UK, you don't want .com and someone else to buy .co.uk. So if they are both available, make sure that you buy them. You don't have to spend money buying all the rest, because there are so many that crops up. So just buy the 2 main ones. .online is growing, and .net is another one. But yeah, .co.uk and .com are the ones that I recommend. But if you are going to buy hosting, then the great thing about hosting is that you can buy it and also get a domain free. Now, hosting providers will offer several options, but the one that we always recommend going for is normally the one that's recommended, the one with unlimited bandwidth, because you don't want your visitors coming to your website and not being able to access your website because you ran out of bandwidth because you've had too many people come to your website. You might be thinking, oh, I'm not going to get that many, but literally for an extra £1 or £2 a month, it's worth having it. You just want to make sure that the hosting in which you buy, so like if I look at Hosting Go, they got single web hosting, premium web hosting, business web hosting. You might think you want single web hosting as you've only got one website, but you've only got 100 gigabyte of bandwidth. I'll be honest, you're probably not going to use it ever. But if ever you get spammed and you get what we call a denial of service attack, where loads of people try and land on your website, then it will quickly block it out in a month. If you got unlimited, you're more likely that your website stays up. And just make sure that whichever one you get has got WordPress installed, so you can have WordPress as an option. You don't want one that just has something like Linux, because then you got to reconfigure it to have WordPress. So it's easier if you just get WordPress. And the other thing is just make sure that you have. It's easier if you get your domain name from the same place as your WordPress hosting. It just saves a lot of time and effort trying to connect the two. So that's step one. Step one is making sure you get your domain name and your hosting. Right. Once you've got that, as I said, as long as it's got WordPress available, you can install WordPress, and each one that you use is slightly different. So Hostinger, Bluehost, GoDaddy, SiteGround, they're all slightly different. The button that you press to install WordPress, but it will be clear on how you do it, or they'll have a video that shows you. And once you've got it and you've got access to your WordPress, you're going to go to plugins, and the first thing that you're going to do is you need to install the Elementor plugin. Now, Elementor has got a free version, so make sure you install the free Elementor version, and then you're going to want to come over to the website and buy the Pro plan for $59 a year. Yep, it's a steal, because the thing I love about Elementor is it allows you to do design on what we call the front end. So people might say that they have drag and drop in interfaces with their WordPress builder, but some are back end and some are front end. And to make life easy, you want a front end builder, drag and drop builder. So there's no coding like we used to have. You literally pick something up and you move it over to one side or the other, or wherever you want it. It is so easy to drag and drop things. You can drag and drop places for images, for text, for headers. And the great thing is you can also use their template. So you can just grab a template, install it, which is just a couple of buttons, a couple of clicks, I should say, and then you can tweak that, and it makes life really easy. Look, there's going to be some learning curves. You're going to need to jump on a few YouTube videos and watch the basics of how you use this. Don't think you can install it and just suddenly do it. It doesn't work like that. But I'm talking about you designing it here instead of getting an agency. So you're saving yourself £600, £700, £800. Like if normally an agency will charge you $1,500 to $3,000 for a basic website, $3,000 to 10 for something a bit more intermediate, and then 10 grand over for an extremely advanced one. So so you are building a very basic website here, and probably even a bit more basic than what they would build. So you're saving yourself a good, I don't know, £800-900 probably, than going to an agency. But it does involve time of you learning how to do it, and it is going to be a slower process. So keep that in mind. So that's once you've got that sorted, install Elementor. Now, the great thing about Elementor as well is it does have their own hosting now. So you can actually just come straight here and buy WordPress hosting directly from them. So if you've already got your URL, and you don't need to go somewhere like to Hostinger, then you can come here and grab it. It is, for me, I'm just going to go to WordPress. I was just saying, it is $9.99 per month for one website, but you get the plugin in order to create a website free with that. So yeah, so if you haven't got a domain name, you still will need to collect one, because I don't think they do it in here. No. So you need to go to something like Hostinger, and while you're there, I'd advise getting the hosting as well from there. But if you've already got a domain name, you can just come straight to Elementor and get it all in one package from here. But the main reason I'm talking about Elementor just here is for their web creation tool, which allows you to literally drag and drop start drag and drop things onto the artboard, which then allows you to tweak and design your website. It's phenomenal. Elementor, Elementor, Elementor.com. Right. So step 1, domain name and hosting. Step 2, the Elementor design tool in order to create your WordPress website. So you've moved all these blocks into positions. You got a template up and going. Now you're like, well, now I need text. What do I do? Well, for me, it's ChatGTP. So, ChatGTP can save you a lot of money to get someone else writing your content. You just got to know how to prompt it. So when you open up ChatGTP, you can use a free version, or you can pay $20 to get a bit more intelligence behind it by using what we call ChatGTP 4. It's $20 a month. I think it's worth it, but you can use a free version on ChatGTP 3.5. And what this allows you to do is generate your content. And what you'll be saying to it is you'll be saying something like, can you create me homepage content of around 700 words? It needs to be more than 700 words. But remember, this text can be mixed up amongst images on your website. And you're going to be saying to it, look, I am my name is, and I am my company is, and we have these services and these products, and here's a testimonial, or a short testimonial from one of our clients. This is why we're different, and give it loads of information about what makes you you. And then say to it, look, now can you design my homepage content, please? Can you make sure that you open up by hitting the pain points of our customer? It's inspirational. It's emotive. You're creating hooks that want to keep people reading. So explain to it what you want it to, what you want to get from it. It's intelligent, it's AI, but it can't read your mind. And if you don't give it that information, then it will give you some wishy-washy, quite bland content, which you might think, oh, that's all right, yeah, that'll do. But it won't keep your reader reading, and that's what you need to do. And you need to do this for every page. And for me, you need to make sure you got your home page, your about us page, and then your services pages in and amongst it. So figure out what your services are, and then you can write content for it. Now, for me, your services are more based around what the customer gets, rather than you just saying that you deliver this service. So let's take, if you're a spray painter, so instead of saying spray paint, you're going to be saying kitchen refurbishments, or interior decorating, or external decorating, because no one's searching for a spray painter, because that's probably not something that they know about just yet. You might want to add that as well as an additional page, but make sure you got those other pages in there that people will be searching for, because that's the type of stuff that they're going to be adding to Google, that Google are going to be looking for on your website, those type of pages. So that's using GPT in order to do that. Now, so you've got your domain name, your hosting, you've got your website builder, which is Elementor. You've created the content. Now we're on to images. And for images, for me, there's nothing better than FreePic. And the reason why I say FreePic is because I find the free sites are very limited. The free stock sites are very limited. And sometimes when you're looking for free stuff, you accidentally end up on the wrong one, and you use content you're not meant to and get sued. And trust me, I've been there. We used an image on a site where we didn't give it the correct copyright information. And because of that, the correct attribution, and because of that, we got sued by them, or we got a letter through the post demanding money. And the thing is there's some very scrupulous people out there who do this on purpose. They will put their content on these sites for you to use incorrectly, and then they will find it and bill you and sue you for it. So you have to be very careful. So I never use free sites because of that, even though there are some very good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. And if you want to do that, you can. Just please make sure that you check the copyright information. And then on the flip end of that, things like Shutterstock and iStock and things like that are really expensive. And Adobe Images, I find them brilliant. They have brilliant images. But if you're just starting out, then it's quite expensive to pay like £150 a month for those images, or I think something like $25 a month for something like 10 images. It can be quite expensive. So for me, I like using FreePic, which I think runs from Shutterstock as well. I think it is a Shutterstock company or something like that, because I find a lot of similarities between it, and it keeps trying to upsell me every now and again for more photos in Shutterstock. But for £13 a month, I can get access to almost 30 million premium stock photos. And I know that there's no attribution required. So there's no copyright information required. I can use them however I see fit, because the level in which I do need to get an extended license is never met for what I do, and it won't be for what you do. Do look at the copyright information though when you do sign up to FreePick, just to make sure. I'm not a lawyer, so you need to make sure, but FreePick for what I use on my websites, which get a lot of traffic, never goes past the copyright information, the copyright terms and conditions. So that's good. So FreePick, £13 a month, brilliant. And you can literally search for whatever you want, and it will just have loads of images in which you can choose for, which is in high resolution. So FreePick. I'm just doing a search now. I know you can't see me because I'm on podcast, but so working in office, it's coming out with 95,000 results of working in the office. So there is loads in which you can search for. So the final thing, now you've got your content sorted, is making sure that you have your Google Analytics on there. So you sign up for a Google account via Google. You can use your own domain name in order to log in. So chris@marketingbotix.com if that's the one I wanted to use. And what that allows me to do is gives me access to create a Google Analytics account. And then what I can do with that is I can connect it to my website. The easiest way to connect it to your website is by using a plugin called Google Sitemaps. So go to your plugin sections on your WordPress website, search for Google Sitemaps and install that. And then you can connect your Google Analytics by just logging into your Google account via the Google Sitemap interface. Now you don't need G Suite, so you don't need to pay for anything. It is completely free. And also, if you use Google Sitemap, it will also allow you to set up a Google Search Console through it and give you the instructions on how you do it, which then keeps running checks on your websites to let you know what is and isn't working and what you need to improve. Google Analytics runs through how many people are hitting your website and where they're coming from and things like that in the search term. So and Google Console does that as well. So working together, they are a powerful combination. So get them installed via Google Sitemaps. So they are your 5 things that you need to create a website using WordPress. First one is domain name and hosting using something like Hostinger. Second one is using Elementor. Now, there are other ones out there. I think Gutenberg and Beaver Builder also do it. But for me, Elementor, which is a front end drag and drop building tool, is phenomenal. And it's only $59 per year. And you only have to have it 1 year. You don't need to pay it every year for the duration of your website. If you don't want to make any changes to your website once you've set it up, then you don't need to continue paying for it, and your website will stay live. But Elementor does have hosting as well, should you have a domain name and you just want to skip Hostinger and just come straight to Elementor and do the hosting and the website building tool in here. All you need to do is go on to wherever your domain name is and point the DNS towards this. And there are videos in Elementor that show you how to do that. So then you need your content. Now for me, ChatGTP by OpenAI, brilliant at doing that. And that will help you get your images from FreePick, which is number 4. And then number 5, make sure your Google Analytics is set up. And those five tools will help you create a WordPress website from scratch. As I said, there's a lot that you need to learn. As you go along, you will be watching many YouTube videos for many hours on end. I reckon it's probably going to take you, if I'm honest, about 15 hours of learning in order to understand how you need to do this. But once you've learned that and you've developed a really easy website, and as I said, you can use the free builder, the free templates, not free, because you can use the templates that are in the pro version of Elementor, which you've already paid sorry, $59 per year for. So you can get a great head start, and there's a lot that you can search for that's based around your industry. But that's how you go about building a WordPress website. Right. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and reading. It's been great running this through with you. And if you need any help or advice, please do reach out. Thanks.